Hello, my name is Mark Klein, and I am a testicular cancer survivor. Won't you please take my hand and walk with me as I share my journey? Prior to November 30th, 2012, I lived a normal life. Then, I received a diagnosis of stage 3B testicular cancer. This is when the fight of my life for my life began. As early as October, I had a pain near my upper thigh, lower abdomen area, but I figured I had simply pulled a muscle. In the following weeks, the pain progressed so much that I was limping with every step. At this point, I figured my condition was serious and decided to go see a doctor. My doctor checked me for a hernia and found nothing. Not liking his answer, I looked for another opinion. The other doctor didn't find a hernia either. Thanksgiving break was rapidly approaching, so I sucked up the pain and told everyone I was going to wait to go to the hospital until Thanksgiving night. I was not going to miss eating a well-cooked dinner with my family. After dinner, I went to the hospital where I stayed until Saturday afternoon when all the series of testing was complete. Upon discharge, I had scheduled a follow-up the following Friday, November 30th. The appointment is still a blur. My mother and sister were with me, and I recall the doctor saying my alpha-fetoprotein level was 4,400. Normal range is between 0 and 8. Not knowing what that meant, I knew I was screwed when he started drawing diagrams. When you hear you have cancer, you label it as somebody giving you a death sentence. I broke down in tears. I held my mother and told her I was going to beat this thing. I've always been a positive person, but I knew this was going to be my biggest challenge ever. The doctor wanted me to begin chemo immediately, but I was expostulated against that, telling him I had some movies to make. He then described to me the situation I was facing. Stage 3B means the cancer has spread to your lymph nodes, so I shut my mouth and found myself being a normal patient for once. My friends on social media were asking how I was doing since my doctor's appointment, and I posted, "I have cancer, it doesn't have me. This thing has no idea who it's messing with. I'm Mark Klein," and there it was, my positive attitude. I had my chemo port installed on December 5th, and 2 hours later I went bowling. Going against the wishes of my teammates, I still proved to them and myself that cancer was not going to get many victories against me, if any. My first cycle of chemo was 3 weeks long, started the following Wednesday. The first treatments took place on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then once a week for the following 2 weeks. Going against doctor's orders, I maintained my social life the first couple of weeks. One of the important things I did during this time was going to Nightingale's Harvest, a food bank for cancer patients and their families. It's a wonderful organization with wonderful and caring people. Another important thing I did was meet up with a childhood friend's father. He served as a huge inspiration since he received a diagnosis of terminal lung cancer the previous year. As he was talking, I absorbed everything he had said, especially when he told me he knew I was going to beat this thing. On Christmas Day, I had a fever and went to the emergency room, where I learned I had pneumonia. I had to stay at the hospital for 4 days. During that period, I had lost all my hair. I had to say goodbye hair and goodbye to immune system. That's when I knew I was in trouble. The winter months were horrible for me as I battled pneumonia 2 times and had to get 4 blood transfusions due to my low platelets. This was part of my hell week, the week when I wasn't sure if I was going to make it or not. This is when I realized how strong I really was. At one point, I was so weak that I was crawling along my bedroom floor. I looked up and said, "If you're going to take me now. Otherwise, give me the strength to get through this." I am now a firm believer in God. It was also at that moment that I remembered who I was. I'm Mark Klein. I knew I had to keep fighting for my friends, my family, myself, and other patients. I couldn't quit. As I was mustering up the strength to pull myself up to my bed, I kept asking myself, how can I get others to believe in me if I don't believe in myself? All the things I said to everyone that was supporting me raced through my head and it re-energized me. Finally, in bed, I received a sigh of relief and cracked a smile. That was my turning point. During this monotonous week, I lost 16 pounds as it was impossible to keep my food down. One of my best friends came in from Illinois because he had heard I was in bad shape. Eventually, I started to hold food down, and before I knew it, March 16th was right around the corner, my last day of chemo. After chemo, I enjoyed regaining the weight that I had lost. I also stopped by my employer to say hi to my friends, and I found out they had a fundraiser for me. I had a routine lab work done, and they found a blood clot in my IVC vein. Upon hearing this, I chuckled and said, "Just another obstacle." I had surgery in May to remove 2 possibly cancerous masses, one the size of a marble and the other the size of an orange, along with 25 lymph nodes. The surgery was 5.5 hours long, and the operation consists of cutting me open from my sternum down past my belly button. I woke up to find 27 staples in me, but when I got the results back, everything was benign. The following day, my doctor informed me that there was a 90% chance of this coming back within the first 2 years, and that I must have quarterly checkups. I confidently replied, "This thing doesn't want a rematch." He also told me that they didn't remove either one of my testicles, so I beat cancer and kept both my boys. That was a double victory. My road to recovery was difficult since I had to teach myself how to walk again. Walk slowly and try to enjoy the things most of us take for granted every day. I returned back to work in September and gradually got back into the groove of things. When October came, I decided to go to a local gym, and that's when I knew I was finally back and better than ever. As I read this, I am 4 years cancer-free. Every day for the rest of my life, I will continue to fight this horrible illness. Whether you are a patient, a friend, a family member, or caretaker, keep your attitude positive. Every day that you wake up is the start of a new and wonderful day. I have had many different names in my life, but my favorite is Survivor. Cancer tried to kill me, and I took it personal. I hope you do as well.